Once upon a time, in a faraway land, there lived a kind merchant and his 3 daughters. The youngest daughter, Beauty, was the most beautiful and kind-hearted of them all. Beauty loved to read books and enjoy simple things like flowers and sunny days. One day, the merchant got some good news. One of his ships, which he thought was lost, had come back to port with all its goods. He hoped to get his fortune back, so he set off for the city. Before he left, he asked his daughters what they would like him to bring back. The eldest said,
"Father, bring me a beautiful dress."
The second daughter said,
"I would like a necklace, Father."
Beauty smiled and said,
"All I want is a single rose. We have none growing around our home."
The merchant arrived at the city but found that his ship's cargo had been taken to pay off debts. He was very sad and started his journey back home. On his way, he got lost in a dark and spooky forest. The trees were tall and twisted, and their branches looked like hands reaching out. As night fell, a thick fog made it even harder to see the path. Just when he thought all hope was lost, he saw a magnificent castle. It was like a fairy tale castle with tall towers and grand stone walls. Desperate for shelter, the merchant walked to the castle gates, which creaked open as if by magic. He carefully went inside and found a grand hall with glowing chandeliers. A long table was set with a feast fit for a king. He called out, but no one answered. "Hello? Is anyone here?" the merchant asked. His voice echoed through the vast hall. There was no answer, so he sat down and began to eat. The food was delicious and made him feel warm inside. After finishing his meal, he found a cozy bedroom. Exhausted from his journey, he fell asleep in one of the soft beds. The next morning, as he was about to leave, the merchant saw a beautiful rose garden just outside the castle. The roses were in full bloom, their colors bright and their scent sweet. Remembering Beauty's request, he picked a single rose. Just then, a fearsome beast appeared.
"What have you done?" roared the beast. "You have stolen my rose."
The merchant fell to his knees, shaking with fear.
"Please forgive me," he pleaded. "I only wanted to bring a rose to my daughter."
The beast's eyes softened a little, but he still sounded stern.
"For this theft, you must pay with your life."
"Please," the merchant begged, "let me go. I picked the rose for my daughter, Beauty. She asked for nothing else."
The beast thought for a moment, then spoke.
"I will let you go, but you must promise to send one of your daughters to live here in your place. If you do not, you must return yourself."
The merchant, seeing no other way to save his life, reluctantly agreed.
"I promise," he said. "I will send one of my daughters."
The beast allowed the merchant to leave, and he made his way home with a heavy heart, worried about telling his family what had happened. When he got home, the merchant sadly told his daughters about the beast's demand. The 2 older sisters were horrified and refused to go. Beauty, feeling it was her fault, insisted on going to the castle.
"Father, it was my request for a rose that caused all this. I will go to the castle,"
Beauty said bravely. Despite her father's protests and her sister's tears, Beauty packed her things and set off for the castle. Her heart was heavy, but she was determined to keep her father's promise. When Beauty arrived at the castle, she was amazed by how beautiful it was. The same magical force that had welcomed her father now seemed to guide her. The doors opened and she stepped inside, finding the castle filled with beauty and wonder. As she walked through the halls, she heard a gentle voice.
"Welcome, Beauty," the voice said.
She turned to see the Beast standing right behind her. He looked scary, but his eyes were kind.
"Thank you,"
Beauty replied, trying not to show her fear. The Beast led her to a beautiful room filled with everything she could ever want.
"You are free to go anywhere in the castle," the Beast said, "except for the west wing."
Beauty nodded and thanked him. She was surprised by the Beast's kindness. Each day, Beauty explored the castle and discovered many wonderful things. There was a grand library full of books, beautiful gardens and fountains, and rooms filled with art and music. Every evening, Beauty and the Beast would eat dinner together. At first, Beauty was scared and uneasy, but as the days went by, she began to see that the Beast was gentle and kind. He listened to her stories, laughed at her jokes, and shared his own dreams and fears. One evening, after dinner, the Beast asked Beauty a question he had asked many times before.
"Beauty, will you marry me?"
the Beast asked softly. Even though he was kind, Beauty still could not see him as anything more than a friend.
"I'm sorry, Beast," she replied. "I care for you deeply, but I can't marry you."
The Beast sighed but smiled.
"I understand, Beauty. Thank you for being honest."
As time passed, Beauty and the Beast grew closer. They spent hours talking, walking in the gardens, and reading together in the library. Beauty's fear turned into affection and friendship. One day, Beauty said,
"Beast, you've shown me so much kindness. I miss my family dearly. May I visit them?"
The Beast looked sad, but nodded.
"You may go, Beauty, but please promise to return in 1 week."
"I promise,"
Beauty said, grateful for his understanding. Beauty returned home and was greeted with joy by her father and sisters. Time flew by so quickly.
"Stay with us a little longer, Beauty," her sisters begged. "We missed you so much."
Feeling guilty, Beauty stayed longer. But soon she started to worry. She missed the Beast and felt that something bad might happen to him. One night, Beauty had a dream where she saw the Beast lying in the rose garden, dying. Frightened, Beauty rushed back to the castle. When she arrived, she found the Beast in the garden, just like in her dream. He was lying still, barely alive. Beauty knelt beside him, crying.
"Beast, please don't die," she cried. "I love you."
As her tears fell on him, a magical change happened. The Beast was surrounded by a bright light, and when it faded, he was a handsome prince.
"Beauty, your love has saved me," the prince said. "A witch cursed me, and only true love could break the spell."
The prince and Beauty returned to the castle, where they had a grand wedding. Beauty's family was invited, and her father was very happy to see his daughter so joyful. Beauty and the prince lived happily ever after, their love growing stronger every day. Beauty continued to read and learn, sharing her knowledge with others. The prince, now understanding the importance of kindness, became a just ruler. Together, they built a life full of love, joy, and compassion. And so, the tale of Beauty and the Beast became a legend, a timeless story of love's power to change and redeem. The end.